Father, we beseech your divine guidance in this meeting. Keep us ever mindful of our obligation. Grant us, dear Lord, wisdom, tolerance, and courage that we may well serve our county and fulfill our trust. Amen.
Amen.
All right, and we've got minutes from February 20th.
Move to approve the minutes from February 20th.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion or changes? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. Any public comment regarding pending resolutions? Seeing none, we have a proclamation presentation, Ohio 4-H week, declaring March 3rd through 9th, 2024. Today's National Strawberry Day. Next week, it's 4-H Day. Whereas the young people of Ohio and Medina County are one of our greatest resources, and whereas the 4-H program has assisted in the growth and development of Ohio and Medina County youth for 122 years, and whereas 4-H originally began as an organization for farm children, today it emphasizes leadership development, civic engagement, healthy living, STEM skills, career awareness, and workforce development, empowering Ohio's youth with the skills to lead for a lifetime. And whereas 4-H alumni are 10% more likely to have a college degree, 4 times more likely to give back to their communities, and 2 times more likely to make healthier choices than their counterparts who were not in 4-H. And whereas our 4-H alumni encourages young people and adults to become involved in the educational programs offered by the 4-H program in Medina County through the Ohio State University Extension and the OSU College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. And whereas 4-H is America's largest youth development organization, supporting more than 6 million children throughout the country, including 156,762 in Ohio. And whereas Ohioans enjoy seeing the many and various 4-H projects, from livestock and fine arts to photography and computer science, each year at their county fairs and the Ohio State Fair. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Medina County Commissioners hereby declares the week of March 3rd through 9th, 2024 to be Ohio 4-H Week, and urge all our citizens to assist in according this observance the attention and importance to which it's so rightly entitled. Would you like to come forward to receive this?
You guys can be in the middle.
Oh, okay, so come up. Come be in the
Representatives from the OSU Extension. There we go.
Yes.
I'll be the alumni.
And let's, I was going to say, Linda Hoffman, a well-known alumni supporter.
All right, great.
Very good. You want to say a few words?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you guys for this recognition and proclamation. That was a wonderful pitch, so I'm not going to add too much. We currently are reaching about 4,000 kids in Medina County. We hope to double that by the end of the decade. Next week for 4-H Week, we do have a couple of events we want to invite everyone to attend. So Wednesday, we're having Wellness Wednesday. We'll do yoga and Zumba for free at the Extension office starting at 5:30. And then Thursday, we have our 4-H open house. That is
It's from 6 to 8 p.m. also at our office.
So come check us out. And we hope that everybody understands and recognizes that we are here to support our youth in Medina County.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All righty. Now we'll get to our resolutions. We've got from the County Engineer's Office, Dan Becker.
Morning.
Good morning.
Let's see what we have today. I've got 8 resolutions for your consideration. First resolution is accepting the 2024 item 422 chip and seal bid. The second is accepting and awarding the 2024 item 422 MC3000 chip and seal bid. The next one is accepting and awarding the 2024 pavement planing and repair project. The next is accepting and awarding the 2024 item 441 thin overlay project. The next is approving the final plat for the Fairway Landings Phase 3 in Lafayette Township. The next is approving annual assessments and improvements on that same Fairway Landings Phase 3 project. The next is authorizing change order number 3, a final change order for the Fen Road project with Carvo Paving. And the last is approving the final change order for the 2023 pavement marking project.
Busy season.
Very. Glad to get rid of some of the stuff.
Move to approve the 8 resolutions.
Second.
Moving to second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Thank you so much. All right. Jeremy Sinko, our sanitary engineer.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
4 resolutions for consideration today. The first is authorizing cooperative agreement between the County of Medina and Ohio Water Development Authority for the substation water main improvement project. The second is authorizing the sanitary engineer to enter into an agreement with GPD Group for professional design services for the Garmin Road well site development project. The third is authorizing the sanitary engineer to enter into an agreement with Jones and Henry Engineers for professional design services for the Greenwich Road water main extension project. And the final is awarding the sewage system designer service contract for the 2023 home sewage system replacement project.
Move to approve the 4 resolutions?
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Holly Uren, our Human Resources Director.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On our personal changes resolution today, we have 3 new hires, 1 at Job and Family Services and 2 at County Home. 8 rate increases, 1 in sanitary, 1 in maintenance, 1 at the print shop, 2 at Job and Family Services, 1 at Solid Waste District, 1 in Commissioners, and 1 in Transit, and 1 suspension in sanitary.
Move to approve?
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Next are Brett Thomas, our Finance Director. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have 3 resolutions for you this week, short and simple. The first resolution is allowing expenses of county officials. Nothing out of state this week. Our second resolution is our weekly bills in the amount of $1,657,151.37. And finally, our third resolution is the finalization of our annual budget. This motion repeals the temporary appropriations and puts into place the very, very long set of papers that come afterwards as our final appropriations for the year 2024.
Move to approve the 3 resolutions?
Second.
Moved and second. Hardly simple.
Big things in small packages.
At its cover. And for those that normally understand, the budgeting process literally takes months. When we start in the fall, we get the proposals, we get requests, we go through them. Our finance staff, as well as the commissioners and the various departments, we try to accommodate that. We have numerous hearings. We've got follow-up meetings and so forth, a lot more detail. And this year took, especially with the finances, making sure that we knew what 23 had come in terms of cash balances and various grants. So we weren't able to give everybody everything they asked for. We tried to give everybody what they needed and try to have a good understanding and be reasonable. And I think we've accomplished that. Maybe some areas we might have to make some slight adjustments, but nothing that I would say is a major consequence for us from a budgetary standpoint or something that we can't afford. I think we've got a number of areas that we still have some uncertainty. As in any government operation, in any kind of business, there's always those questions, but we have enough in reserve to be able to deal with those uncertainties. But I'm very confident that county government will be able, and all the departments and elected officials will have sufficient resources to do the good jobs that they're doing now. So with that, roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Debbie Kiley, Job and Family Services Director.
Good morning. First off, just 2 resolutions for your consideration this morning. The first is authorizing a contract with Bryan Media Strategies for targeted marketing solutions for Job and Family. And then the second is just us amending our PRC plan for JFS.
Move to approve both resolutions?
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussions? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
And department updates.
Yes, please.
Child Protective, last month we received 117 calls requesting investigations of abuse and neglect. We did reunify 9 children with their families last month, along with 2 adoptions, so that's fantastic news. However, we do still have 144 children in care. So with that many children in care, foster families remain an important piece of providing that care. I think you may have seen already, but the agency is promoting a 24 and 24 promotion. We're hoping to certify 24 24 foster homes this year, 24 more. That would bring us to close to 70 foster homes in the agency alone. To assist with that effort, we're actually holding an event, an open house of sort, on February 29th from 6 until 8. It's at the agency, and it's just an open house forum. You can come and go as you please, and it just provides a welcome opportunity for people to come in and ask questions about what fostering actually looks like. I've also shared with Brian a video, our foster care coordinator. You saw it. It's cute. It's a joint effort between other local agencies. It's posted on our website as well as other social media outlets. I think Brian has posted it where he needs to too. It's simply an alliance of both its private and public entities that are trying to promote the awareness of foster care. And then for public assistance and child support, they're both kind of coming under a different theory for work programs. The state is changing the employment and training program for our SNAP participants, which I wholly welcome. It's long overdue for an overhaul. It's an old requirement, and it needs to be have a refresh. So right now the program is mandatory and has some pretty fairly rigid requirements for both recipients, but also for employers that might otherwise want to participate with our recipients of SNAP. So the state's considering making the program voluntary, which is essentially going to give priority service to the unemployed and underemployed, as well as open better avenues for employers that are historically been unwilling to work with our program just because it's been so rigid. Details are still forthcoming. There's a conference being held with Metro directors that I'm going to attend on March 1st, and then obviously as it continues to roll out, there will be more information on that. And then child support's actually pursuing that kind of identity too. The state is going to apply for a grant that's going to be awarded up to 12 states throughout the nation to establish a child support-led employment and training program for unemployed and underemployed individuals, whether they're participants of our public assistance programs or not. But it's the same anticipation for our SNAP program. It's to help individuals gain employment, increase their earnings, and subsequently pay their child support through income withholding. The state expects that project, if it's awarded to Ohio, would begin July 1st, and then they'll I'm using quotes, with county offices to determine what our interest and involvement will be. So that's a pretty exciting venture for child support. It's not anything like I've seen in my 30-some-odd years. That's it. Any questions for me? No?
No, very good.
Fantastic.
Great.
Have a
Good
great
job,
day.
Mary. Thank you. Love the video. It's a good job. Yeah. Shannon Ryan, our transit director.
Good morning.
Good morning.
January for us was a chilly one. Affected our ridership. Happy to see the weather come a little warmer. Looking at our numbers, we were still strong in Medina and Wadsworth. We're definitely doing the right thing. Brunswick began in January, and I think it affected the chilly weather affected a little bit. But we're seeing positive results from Brunswick. The reduction in miles, a definite customer service improvement in getting people to their destinations a little quicker. There's a lot of learning, a lot of education, a lot of change for a lot of people. I've done a lot of speaking engagements, so I think it's helped. Some calls are still coming in, and we're continuing to educate those customers that ask about the MC Flex. Trip denials remain low, down to 2, so we're definitely not missing that mark. 0 would be better, but 2 is good.
Well, last year, that month was 51. So
Exactly.
Doing much
Just
better.
getting ready to say it.
Yeah.
Last year was right before we began the MC Flex, and
that's
we
right.
felt the pain of having to say we didn't have room.
Yep.
Happy to say we do. Looking at our monthly contract, Office for Adults seems to continue to grow. I don't think a week goes by where we're not approving 3 to 4 to 10 new seniors for service, and that's been the largest draw. Although we're seeing strong numbers from Job and Family as well. I'm really looking forward to what the MC Flex can do with the warmer weather. Our capacity is good. We're bringing on new vehicles very, very soon. I'm traveling to the factory tomorrow to see the new 8 coming in. That will definitely help with our fleet. Hope to see those soon. The delivery is pending. It's always a little delayed, but it'll be very welcome for us. And we're continuing to hire drivers. Some of the publications we've been making, we have a couple in the pipeline, maybe even 3, which will mean the world when we have to fill those shifts for the growing demand that we have this spring. So all in all,
Awesome.
it's grant season, it's reporting season, but we're in good standing for the year and looking for a strong year with ridership. So.
When you have the prior year MC Flex comparison, so when we're comparing January 24 to January 23,
Mm-hmm.
can you explain to me what that is? Because I'm thinking of the Flex, kind of the current, but there's mileage there from January 23. Were we running MC Flex in January 23 last year?
We started Wadsworth right about that time,
Okay.
only one.
Okay.
So it's just that gradual
So the
realization.
The comparison year over year is MC Flex across the whole county this year compared to what it was doing in Wadsworth.
That's correct.
last
It's
year.
apples,
Okay.
apples, not
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think what we're seeing is the capacity is growing, which is allowing us to do more, but the drivers are getting much more efficient. Our
Yeah.
team is getting more efficient and not unnecessary miles, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so they're doing as many trips in fewer miles,
Right.
or more potentially.
Looking at what exactly,
Yeah.
more with
Yep.
less. And we saved about 61,000 miles in 23 as opposed to 22. If we get to the 80, 90,000 mark in saving the miles, that'll make all the vehicles last potentially another year, which is a big deal right now. And also fuel.
And also, the newsletter article about hiring drivers, I thought they came across well. So thanks for your help on that too.
Yeah.
Brian was very, our community, our outreach to the community is very welcome to the commissioner's newsletter, and we saw some responses right away.
Great.
So thank you for that.
Super.
Okay,
All right, very good.
thank you.
Thanks, Shannon. Good job. Ed Zachary. Should we all be wearing hats?
Yeah,
or
I feel
something?
like
In 2 weeks, you all will be. So, let me take this off. It's just kind of there in case I need it. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
All right. So basically, our update for closing out the year for 2023 for our assistance program, the Medina County Veterans Service Office provided relief to 219 individuals and 79 families for calendar year 2023. We're on page 4. I'm sorry. New financial assistance clients made up 15% of the claims for 2023. The second graph there represents the $199,560.28 in vouchers that we wrote for 2023. We paid out $192,674.34 in vouchers for 2023. So we always write a little more than we actually pay out. The average dollar amount spent in financial assistance per veteran or family was $911.23, and that increases every year just based on costs of services. Additionally, we paid $1,369.20 on dental services. We co-op with the Medina Health Department to provide dental services. That's down from the previous year, not sure why, but it's down quite a bit too, but maybe just less services. I know the first year we did it, we did a couple dentures and things like that, and last year we mostly cleanings. The cost of services, obviously it takes more money to provide financial assistance, not just because we're paying something out, but just the work that we do. It's a little more time consuming, so when we talk about the admin cost, the financial assistance does cost a little bit more. We have 15 active organizations throughout Medina County that we work with, the American Legion, the VFW, the Disabled American Veterans, and so on. That's where our commissioners are appointed from, and we stay in contact with them on a almost daily, if not monthly basis, and we get clients from them, we tell them about our programs, we go out and talk to them, so they are an integral part of how we operate. We transported 829 veterans to the VA medical centers in Cleveland, the Lewis Stokes Hospital down at Wade Oval, the Parma Community-Based Outpatient Clinic on Brook Park, and the Akron Community-Based Outpatient Clinic in Akron. So those are the 3 medical centers that service our area, and that's where we go to. We go there 5 days a week. And to add to Shannon, I know he left, but we also provided another 2,290 rides in 2023 through the Medina County Public Transit and our free bus service for veterans that live in the county. 14 years ago, it's amazing that I say that, but 14 years ago, we all co-opted with the Parma Vet Center, and you provided space to them for a clinical psychologist to do work with our veterans. We now have 2 clinical psychologists that come out. They are in the Human Resources building. They come out twice a week. If anybody needs appointments with them, the number is 440-845-5023. Basically what they do is they counsel combat veterans, they do family counseling, they do group counseling, anybody that's military sexual trauma,
They do that, and it's really a great service that they come out here because it's hard for me to get people to go to Parma. It's a drive, but when I tell a vet that they have to walk across the parking lot, it's usually a little easier to get them into some kind of counseling. There's still 2 group homes that provide services to veterans within Medina County. We stay in contact with them. We help them out with some paperwork for their clients. They're usually severely mentally challenged or ill veterans that are there or disabled in some kind of fashion that they need 24/7 help. So we help them out. There are also a multitude of nursing homes that are contracted with the VA that we go into, provide services for the veterans that are there. As far as when we talk about the VA and the number of claims we did 547 new claims for veterans last year, and that's huge. Typically about 300 is average for us. So we're at, almost double that last year. So the workload has been quite a bit. And it doesn't seem to slow down because we've already did 111 in the last 2 months. So when you look at that, we're probably going to do 600 or 700 this year. We filed 547, 917 non-rating claims. Those are just things that don't really get rated by the claim. They're just applications for health care or applications for some other service, home loans, things like that. We did 103 appeals. Out of the 103 appeals, we did about 60, I think it was 63 in-house where we actually did the appeal hearing in our office remotely with Washington, D.C. and the Board of Veterans Appeals. We assisted 2,480 veterans total in some kind of capacity with the VA last year and had over 2,700 appointments for 2023. We know the GDX for 2022, the VA spent over $100 million in Medina County on our veterans, either in cash or medical assistance, and we expect that when the GDX comes out in May for 2023, that will exceed that again. As far as the Department of Veterans Services goes in Ohio, the only thing we really do through them are we do veterans bonuses and the military injury relief program. Those programs are both down. That bonus will sunset in August of 2024. So most of the people that have been eligible for that bonus has already applied. So we've only did one of those this past year and one MRF application also. We continue to work. We started a program. I know the homestead exemption with the auditor's office. We're going through and approving those applications for them, whether the person's eligible or not, and then giving them back to them and they do what they do. So we've worked out a system with the auditor's office on how to do that. On page 10, we kind of close out with our expenses. Our expenses are a little higher than the previous year. A lot of that has to do with the construction and new hires. They will rise again next year just based on the construction and some more new hires. Started out operationally 2023, still coming out of COVID. Pretty much COVID is a word we don't try not to use anymore, but we're pretty much back to, pre-COVID operations. We bought a new wheelchair van. We put it in operation in January of 2023, and that's been extremely useful as far as transporting people that are in wheelchairs to and from the VA medical centers. We don't have to contract out anymore. And this week, we're going to finish the ordering of another new van. It's identical to the one we have. It's a bus. They're buses. But it's not a wheelchair accessible one, so we only needed one of those. The buses are working better for the seniors to get on and off than sliding in and out of the seats, so we'll finish that out this week, hopefully, in about a 6-month delivery, I think they said. The financial assistance was up a little bit due to the SNAP benefits kind of sunsetted. During the COVID and the 2 years after that, they were providing SNAP 100% to anybody eligible. That went away in January of 23, so our assistance went back up as far as providing food assistance. I'm happy to announce that I have my hard hat here that on March 12th, we're going to do a groundbreaking, so I need, if you can all attend at 11 o'clock.
Sure.
And I've already told Chris, so he's going to get it on your calendar, and we'll hopefully put a shovel in the ground and start working. We're going to be moved out of that building. We will be closed next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the 5th, 6th, and 7th. And we will reopen on the 8th Friday at the professional building in the rear entrance. We're telling everybody to go around the rear. So that's our plan right now. With the implementation of what's called the PACT Act, the Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson, benefits expanded. Our services are doubling, if not tripling in some areas. We expect that to increase again March 5th of, next 2 weeks. That implementation of that law extends again and goes into effect, and it makes the eligibility for health care expanded. So we're expecting to see an increase in people coming in to apply for that also. What hasn't changed is, we're still providing the same services. We have 3 accredited service officers, and we believe that we're here to serve those that have served, so we're happy to do that. We continue to do a lot of outreach events. I only listed a few of them there. We did several others. And one of the things I want people to know about, there's a huge marketing going on by people that are trying to charge people to do veterans benefits and pay for you to get those services. And number one is it's somewhat illegal, even though they're skirting the law on how they do it. But you shouldn't have to pay for something that you're due and you earn. So by all means, please call us and don't pay to have something that you shouldn't have to pay for. And pending that, any questions?
First of all, I want to thank you. Last Wednesday, we met with the new owners as well as the management of the Liberty residents over in Wadsworth, as well as with a number of residents. I just want to thank you. You were there again.
Yeah.
And I know you'd been there a couple times
Yeah.
in providing services and will continue to provide that. I just want to thank you for providing that assistance. I know some of the veterans there have decided to go move elsewhere, as is their right.
Yeah.
And you obviously a number of parties working together to help assist them.
I know we've had close to 20 individual appointments with people that are there,
Great.
just to discuss whether they're eligible or not, and
That's
do what we
great.
can for them. So,
Thank you. Secondly, I maybe a shameless promotion. There is the all-veteran countywide banquet coming up. What date is that? And
That is
where,
April
you want to buy
20
tickets?
April 26th. You can contact me. I can put you in contact with where the tickets come from.
Right.
It's $35 per person. It's a great event. If you want to sponsor it, if you own a business or anything and you want to sponsor it, you can also get in contact with me. I don't know what's for dinner that this year. Usually I know that by now, but I haven't.
usually-
I've been a little
it's always
busy,
good.
so I really haven't tried to memorize the dinner, but it's a great event. So
Get online. You'll be able to find it. and
I
see the
do
menu.
know
Yeah.
they are sponsoring the Medina Court, Valor Court from the city
That's
of
right.
Medina this year. So all
Yep.
the money raised will go to the Medina Valor Court to support that. So.
Super. Great. Thank you.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks. Good thing it's a hard hat. All right, Commissioners, we have a resolution of reappointing a member to the Medina County Advisory Council on Aging and Disability. Ms. Evans, Marie Edmonds, delegate at large, number 6, has expressed interest in continuing the service on said board as a delegate at large, member number 6.
Move to approve.
Second.
Move second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. Likewise, we're appointing a representative to Medina County Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging. This is for their trustees representing Medina County. It requires quite frequently transportation out of the county, so it's hard to find somebody during business hours to be able to devote the time and effort necessary to represent Medina County at that important region-wide organization. I just want to thank anyone that's willing to serve in that capacity. And this appoints Kim Bernardi Runyon.
Move to approve.
Second.
Move second. Just want to thank Kim for being willing to volunteer and take your time and effort to support our seniors as well as the county. Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. And then a notice of a liquor permit filing. This does not require a hearing or anything, but this is a retail store carryout C2 for TA Operating LLC, doing business as Lodi Travel Center, located at 8834 Lake Road, Westfield Township, Seville, Ohio. All right. And that's it for our resolutions. Public comment. Anybody here from the public? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and proceed with discussion session. Chris, do you have anything?
I do. Thanks.
Just a few quick notes on a couple of items. The EMA, Emergency Management Construction Project meeting, the first one scheduled is at 2 o'clock today. I know there was a groundbreaking last week, so this will be the first project meeting, hopefully on a weekly basis, and I'll continue to keep you posted on the progress of the building project there. Next, as Ed mentioned, we have the groundbreaking ceremony tentatively scheduled for next Tuesday. The actual construction work should begin the prior day on the 11th. And we had our first pre-construction meeting last Thursday with the architect and the construction company who received the bid award for that project. Next, county auction. We are in the preliminary stages of scheduling the rather large undertaking of the county auction for disposing of the courthouse surplus property that accumulated as a result of the transition to the new building project and the renovation of the 1841 courthouse. We have a tentative scheduled date of April 27th, which is a Saturday, commencing at 9 a.m. I know we've recruited folks on this floor to assist us with some of the detail work that goes into organizing the auction, and so hopefully things will go smoothly, and we'll keep you posted on that, and we'll be able to free that space up then for the city to start their renovation work in that building, the 1969 building, shortly thereafter, or whenever they're ready to commence their project. And final note, Denise Testa, our planning director, wanted me to mention that the planning department is currently accepting CHIP, the Housing Improvement Program, pre-applications for residents, and we are searching for contractors. Interested parties contact Planning Services, 330-722-9293, and they'll be able to assist you in any questions you may have about the program. So that is all I had right now.
Super.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Anyway, if you wouldn't mind, I'll take the, I guess, the privilege of jumping in on the discussion session since John Burke is here. John, if you don't mind coming up, we want to talk about the Land Reutilization Corporation. Oh, yeah, please. Well, yeah. That's, okay. Well, I mean, you're an integral part of this effort.
Yeah, you want me to?
Yeah, no, I at this point, part of the discussion. I know the commissioners, and that way people can see too. And we know we had some public meeting here maybe a couple months ago with a lot of entities, personnel that have been involved, interested in looking at what's called a land bank or a county land reutilization corporation. And this involves a partnership, literally at its start, with the county commissioners and the treasurer working together to form this corporation and the benefits. And we had a presentation that time, Sean, I can't remember his last name, Carvin, from the Ohio Land Bank Association regarding that. And following that, a select number of people were meeting on a regular basis with you and I, hosted by the Medina County Economic Development Corporation, to go over and assemble some material information, looking at parcels of land, looking at what potential opportunities for a land bank might be, as well as even developing if you will, an outline of a draft plan strategy for that, should that organization be produced, and in which case we do have we're looking at a resolution now, potentially creating this, and obviously it has to go through a public process with the commissioners and the treasurer, and that's what I'm considering this. Right now we have got a draft letter, and I know you probably want to make some comments about the process we want to follow as well. On trying to obviously get the community input and the partners, and with the idea of adopting a resolution to create a land bank. So did you want to
Yeah, let me make a
put you
few
on the spot?
comments.
Oh, yeah, please.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I kind of thought we might go into this today, and you mentioned we had some discussion on it. So, and each of the commissioners, I've talked to each one of you on this land bank over many years, actually. You track this back. The land bank started in Ohio. It was a new concept, first in the country, back in 2007 and 2008. And I was in on that initial conception with Jim Rackakis, who was treasurer of Cuyahoga County at the time. And so I've been following this all along. And originally, the land bank's whole purpose was to remove blighted, abandoned property, buildings, and get those properties back on the tax rolls. So, Cuyahoga County, I mean, you got Cleveland, you got Youngstown, the big cities, they were in really need of this. Not so in Medina, I mean, and we've gone over those figures. We have, and where the land bank usually gets all their properties is, properties go through sheriff sale, they don't get sold, they go to auditor sale, and then they just sit there, they're not sold. So the idea was getting demolition work done on buildings. And that worked very well for the big cities. Now, in our case, like last year, I gave you guys figures. The prosecutor only actually went to sheriff's sale with 37 properties here, and they all sold. And we had 4 in auditor sale that didn't sell. But now the landscape's changed. Take it forward to last year. And so last year, the state decided to have welcome home grants, basically a program, and really it had a different focus. So it was for not only demolition but rebuild and build, and they also had tax credits and things like this for qualifying property. And we had a new initiative with that, which was eligible property and income qualifications. And the idea is for affordable housing. So this is a new initiative. So that whole program, and I should say too, the state came out a couple times with grants, okay? And like the tobacco grant, we got like $430-some thousand. And that was to grant property owners, they didn't have to put it through a land bank. It was to give the property owners a grant to knock down an unsightly building or an abandoned property. But it was only homes, okay? It wasn't commercial properties. It took us about 2.5 years. I was on the committee. You were on the committee too, I think, back then. Was that about 14 or so? Yeah. But it took us about 2.5 years to find 32 properties to use the money. So, and that's a good thing because we don't have the blight that the larger cities do. But with these new grants, okay, there was one for demolition this year, and that could go to us without a land bank. And we had to get an entity, which we did, the Economic Development Group, to do that. We also got brownfield grants. So I think one was $500,000, the other was $1.5 million for brownfield. And we could do that without a land bank. But there's 2 that we have to have a land bank. And that is this rehab, rebuild, and the tax credits. And the state allotted $150 million, I believe, for all that. It might be $1 million for us. So that changes the landscape, and if we want to take advantage of that, we have to have the land bank. So this task force, we've been working on this, and like I said, I've been tracking this for a long time, and at my Treasurers Association meetings, I go to the land bank meetings just to keep on top of the new, whatever is new. And in fact, I've gone to 5 land bank conferences. In fact, we have another one coming up next month, isn't it? Bethany's going, I'm going. But I've gone to 5 of these before, just to keep up on top of this. So with this new grants, we need to form the, I've concluded that we need to form the land bank. We've also been discussing policies, though, because I've seen through these meetings good things and bad things from a land bank. You gotta stay away from some issues that have come up that some have had, and you want to take the best of the best. So that's what I plan to do. I got a meeting next week with several other treasurers, and I can ask them. There's some very good, well-run land banks over the years, and so we'll take the best from the best and try to get this settled. Some of the things we're talking about in policies, which I think are important, and I'll just bring up 2. So one thing we've talked about that we had general agreement on yesterday was one is that we don't take a property in until we have an idea what we're going to do with it, because there's a lot of land banks, and probably Youngstown and Trumbull County is a prime example of this. And I've talked to Sam, the treasurer there. He's got 1,200 properties he can't do anything with that won't sell. Now, we don't have anything like that that'll happen here, but the idea is don't take it in. You get donations. Well, why are people donating property a lot of times? Well, they don't want it, they can't use it, they can't sell it. So we got to look at what we take in, and we got to have a plan on how to use it, okay? That was one of the concepts. And the other thing was, we're not going to decrease DTAC fees. So DTAC fees are what I get and the prosecutor gets for delinquent collection. And by state law, you can increase those. But remember, when you do that, you take away money that would be distributed to political subdivisions and schools. So instead of that, we think we can do it on the grants. And the plan is, let's do it on the grants and the selling of the property, and and I think the commissioners have already talked about this.
We actually put it in the budget, some money as a seed money.
Some money as a seed money to start it, and then economic development has some staff to help. So I think we've got a lot of that covered. Good. So the timing of this is, I've got to prepare a file for the incorporation of the land bank, and our time frame is, if we want these grants, we got to have it done for a June deadline for the grants. So that's kind of the timeline, and we're going to proceed from there. I will proceed from there.
Super.
Okay.
Super. And
any questions?
No. Yeah, I don't have any questions. I mean, I'm all in. I think I've kind of evolved on this a little bit too. That seeing the kind of grassroots need or the desire from the economic developers, that it was, you know, an additional tool that they didn't have. It seems kind of like a no-brainer to put the resources into doing it. And I think kind of being a little bit selective on the projects that we take on, I think that makes sense, because my only reservation on the front end was making sure we weren't in some ways getting in the way of properties that were already ripe for development. If this is focused and targeted and strategic on the properties that otherwise wouldn't be developed, and then getting those back on the tax rolls, I think it's serving the exact purpose it's intended. And so I appreciate all the time everybody's put in to have those discussions.
And in addition to when we did it, 5 years ago, there wasn't the opportunity for these grants back then like there is now.
Right. No, this is all new.
Right.
Like I said, the landscape has changed just in the last year quite a bit. And we're hoping that continues with the state to help fund those grants. But we do have a sizable amount right now that we can get and help the county to rehab. And another thing I didn't mention is this also now can include commercial, some of the grants, commercial property, which before this was only homes and residential. So now you look at some of the commercial properties, and we hadn't done that before either, because that wasn't part of the idea.
And we try to make this obviously a very public, as it ought to be, a public process. So this week you'll work with our office, of course you, and economic development, as well as the prosecutor's office, to finalize a resolution creating it for next week. I would like to propose at least a public hearing at 9 o'clock next Tuesday, to invite those that were interested just to have some comments regarding the formation of it. We have a lot of, I think, proponents, people that have spoken up. We want to also afford that opportunity for anybody that may have some concerns, but likewise make sure as part of the process we do that. And if it's all right with you, we'll just have a special hearing at 9 o'clock, and then 9:30 we'll have that resolution that'll be part of the normal agenda, if you're agreed.
That's a great idea.
What's the date next week?
March
4th, 5th?
March.
Okay, good. Because I
March
got
5th.
legislative meeting the following
Okay, cool.
week.
All right, cool. All right, good.
Okay.
All right.
All
So
right.
that'll be the part of the plan. Thank you, John, for partnering up with this and working on this so much. Appreciate it. All right. Any other comments or questions on this one? Okay, cool. All right, we'll go back to the other part of the agenda. Matt, did you have anything? Bethany, do you have anything?
Anybody else?
Linda? Okay, anything? We do have another item for discussion, if you don't mind me bringing that up. This is the county policy on bonuses. Normally, we don't read our letters. This one's, I guess, with our approval. This is the letter we'd like to produce. I at least want to provide at least a major excerpt for it. Most people won't see this, but this is to elected officials and department heads and regarding a county policy on bonuses. As many of you are aware, the Board of Commissioners expressed concerns during a recent budget hearings about several employee bonuses awarded by some officials in the past fiscal year. The individual amounts awarded in fiscal year 2023 ranged from $100 to $43,200 and totaled $257,809.41 paid out of various funds under the authority of the Commissioners and the elected officials. As summarized, and there's an attached sheet by appointing authority, the 3-year grand total for employee bonuses was over $700,000 $791,000. We all know that post-COVID economics and workforce issues have made recruitment of new employees and retention of current employees difficult for many departments. The last several years have been unprecedented, but our county government has emerged fiscally strong and capable of meeting the demands and challenges of our respective public functions. There have been changes in workforce policies and workplace organization of county departments that help us achieve the public mission of county government. However, while facing the potential of even more significant financial and community challenges in the next several years, the county cannot fiscally sustain, and the Board of County Commissioners will not support the continuation of employee bonuses that fall outside a county policy that is applied consistently, specifically, and equitably. During the budget hearings in January, we asked questions of several officials about the bonuses to ascertain why they were given and how the various amounts awarded were determined. Selection, application, and rationale for those bonuses was varied widely between each official. A small selection included we had salary available, it was Christmas time, and even because a past administration had promised. Only one official had directly and specifically tied a bonus structure to any form of recurring performance metrics. It is important to note that large one-time payouts, especially those promised but not appropriately documented, create large unknown liabilities that can prevent our duty of efficient budgeting, clear decision-making, and transparent record-keeping for the public we serve. Because of these trends and certain concerning responses to our questions on this matter, we took great care to evaluate the staffing levels and associated budget requests from various departments and appointing authorities. Our budget decisions this year reflect specific measures to assure that end-of-year fund balances are not used for employees' bonuses inconsistent with an established county policy. As such, we will be considering approval of the following bonus policy covering fiscal year 24 and beyond. This is the proposed county policy on bonuses. Unless provided for by a collective bargaining agreement or mandated by a state or federally funded program, bonuses to county employees or groups of employees for fiscal years 2024 and beyond should be limited, infrequent, and otherwise compliant with the provisions of our revised code section 3525.25, program to recognize outstanding employee performance as specifically stated in the Ohio Revised Code. And I won't read that section. It is meant to, number one, make sure that the appointing authority essentially tells the commissioners prior to, and that it is created to recognize outstanding employee performance. While we do not believe that we are at a crisis level, we do believe that the future of Medina County may face some challenges, but we are, in the whole, largely presented with great opportunities to serve the public and improve our communities. We appreciate your understanding of the necessity to adopt the county policy on bonuses and trust that you will support us in the administration of your office and management of employees under these parameters. With your continued help, participation, and guidance, we can attain a county government that is efficient and effective while equitably providing for our employees and families. The reason I'm reading this is because this is the first time we've actually established a policy regarding this. We've taken great care and consideration when we were working on our budgets and making sure that everybody understands this is the standard that we will be using in the future for providing sufficient funds during our budgeting and appropriation process for those departments, and we will be looking at all bonuses that are awarded by those departments when we make those decisions. And we are certainly going to do everything we can to make sure specifically that we are operating that program under the ORC 3525, where we are given notice, and that those bonuses are under a program that recognizes outstanding employee performance.
I want to make two comments about this letter. First of all, the section where you talk about monies from other entities, we have had, and the commissioner specifically, where the state provided a grant for a certain department for some specific bonuses during the era of Corona. So that's the type of examples that paragraph reflects, where we do get specific monies from elsewhere for a bonus purpose.
Yeah, specifically says when you look at county government, many of the operations of our departments are actually just the front office of the state function.
Right.
Job and Family Services is the preeminent example. Right. They are our employees, but what they provide is mandated by the state. And so they had during COVID, they had a number of programs where, of course, employees were under collective bargaining, received their due consideration. There were programs for the, basically the management, the supervisors, to be awarded those bonuses for their going above and beyond. And those were mandated by,
I thought
because they're
that
doing
clear-
state functions.
Right, and I thought that I just wanted to clarify that for that paragraph, that funds do sometimes come from other
Exactly right.
entities besides our own tax dollars.
Agreed.
Second, the last 3 to 4 years, we have been fortunate enough, or however you look at it, we received a lot of Corona money and then a large amount of ARPA money, where we were able to accomplish some significant capital improvement projects and other even smaller projects across the county. Those funds are ending. So although it seems that the money had, just was incredible in the last couple years on projects that we were fortunate enough to get done, the era of the Corona and the ARPA money is now over, and we have to look to the future on one of our premier responsibilities is fiscal responsibility of our tax dollars.
And I think the other thing, it's not explicitly stated in here, but I think is worth highlighting. This isn't a reflection. Obviously, we have a very strong and dedicated workforce at the county level. And, one of my first impressions in starting here about a year ago was, the tenure of employees here is fantastic. And we do want to make sure that we are providing not just compensation, but also benefits that can retain those employees. Mm-hmm. The cost of benefits in recent years, also we've had to kind of underwrite some of that cost with temporary COVID money. Mm-hmm. And looking to the future, the money goes away, but probably the need doesn't. And so we need to make sure we're still in a position financially where we can take as much of that burden as we can away from our employees. We made some changes this year to the plans that resulted in employee contributions increasing, and so those things are always going to have to be kept in some degree of balance. And so to the extent we have extra resources available for that, it would be probably most prudent that those expenses stay, so we can use those for the benefits package that I think we all want to have continue to be the type of thing that can retain those employees. So this isn't any kind of a target at any employees or anything like that we don't think they're worth it. It's just more kind of a policy-based approach to the nature of public employment. And I think we all appreciate the people that we work with on a daily basis, but we need to make sure that the public service component of this isn't one that's typically going to lend itself to bonus compensation.
Yeah, well, I think too, and to clear, the section of code that we're referencing actually looks at it as part of recognizing outstanding employee performance. It's not all about, doesn't have necessarily cash. There are additional paid leave or other additional benefits the appointing authority can provide that individual that they consider appropriate are part of that program as well. So it's not just all about that.
Right.
And provided, but it has a connection with whatever they do with the appropriations we have to make, and that's why the law exists. The commissioners have to be notified. In the end, we have to pay for it.
And we didn't take any steps to acknowledge, but I do think there are department heads who have retained very talented and long tenured staffs without paying bonuses. And so, we didn't go to the lengths of naming any names or anything like that, but I believe it can be done. And I think as a policy, this kind of points us in the direction of trying to head down that path.
And so with your approval, we'll be sending this letter out?
I agree, yep.
Okay,
good. Thank you. All right. You have anything further?
I just wanted to let you know, I was in discussion yesterday with the owner of Get Looped, and so I am going to contact the judge's representatives probably beginning today to start setting up dates for 4 months from now so that they can have plenty of time to schedule their courtrooms closed so the construction can begin.
Is that the first you've mentioned the name of that organization?
I think
don't
so.
know if
You
I've
didn't know
heard
it was
before,
Get Loop?
but
Yeah,
that's
it's Get
quite a
Loop,
name.
yeah.
All right. Anything?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to bring, since it's been about a month since I've had any kind of a NOAC update, there was a request, and I'm still gathering information on it, but a request for us to make available some of our HR function to some of the ongoing NOACA investigation. My instinct on that is to pass on that opportunity. I don't know if that's an opportunity or not, but I'm going to pass on that. I wanted to at least bring that to your attention. I've got to have a conversation with Jeff Brandon about it, but I get a little bit nervous about the potential liability implications, and then also putting our personnel in a tight spot in terms of interpreting HR policies of another organization. You know, I don't really know how we would accomplish that. So
I pass that email obviously on to you from Jeff Brandon, who's president of NOACA and represents Medina County. They've hired was it Buckingham Doolittle and
I believe it
Burroughs?
was, yeah.
$50,000 for their expertise in HR to do the investigation, yet they want us to provide them with technical support, our HR person. And I'm in agreement with you. I'm kind of hesitant to offer our public employee to the law firm that is actually hired to do this investigation.
The really sad thing about this is that, I mean, that's more than half of our dues that we give to the organization, $50,000 in an annual. It's a lot of taxpayer dollars.
well, and I look at the incremental cost of that too, of having a staff person who's presumably going up for meetings or these other things, and so that we'd be paying for all of that as well. And that's part of my analysis, in addition to just, you know, we as an executive, you know, both the executive committee and also then the board of NOACA kind of voted to move this into the hands of a third-party investigator, and that feels a lot less third-party-ish if a member organization is providing HR support. So I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't looking at that the wrong way.
No, I'm in agreement with you.
I am too.
Yeah, all right. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, I don't have anything else. Anything with the order? Go to executive session?
Yeah, I would make a motion that we convene executive session to consider a complaint against a public official.
Second.
Moved and second. Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. Very good. Thank you. Everybody have a good day, and we'll see you next week.